Hey guys, welcome to the video. So in this video, let's talk about AI, artificial intelligence. So I usually don't do videos on AI because I'm not an expert in AI. I think I did one video on AI in which I just shared some personal opinions about AI. Although, as I clearly mentioned in that video as well, that it's a very like not nothing technical because as I already told you, I don't have any technical knowledge. Just a second. I think this would be better. So as I told you, I don't have any technical knowledge about AI. But in this video, I would like to discuss a very important point since AI is something we cannot ignore any longer, the way it has seeped into our lives. And so, what is the future of AI? How is it going to affect the future of humanity? These questions are no longer just science fiction questions or just questions fun to discuss. These questions are unescapable, unavoidable right now. That is the situation. So, we have to, we cannot keep sweep AI under the rug and ignore it just because okay, I'm not an expert. Yeah, of course not. Just a second. Yeah, so not all of us are AI experts. Obviously, not all of us do AI for profession, but AI has become such an integral part of our lives that each and every one of us who use AI, and we all do in one way or the other. So it's important for each and every one of us who do AI to know about the basics and to develop this habit of questioning each and every step. I'm not saying don't use AI. If you do that, then you will be left behind in today's world. Everyone is using AI, you have to use it too. Use it wisely. Again, that's not a very good advice because that sounds very vague. Use it wisely. Well, I mean, what do you exactly mean by wisely? But you should always question yourself, and in general, for that you don't need to be an AI expert, or you don't need to learn all this stuff, technical details. Yeah, I don't know all of that, nothing, none of that. I know none of that. But I so anyway, that's the thing. So I would like to point out some important but often overlooked things, stuff about AI. Number one. So just a second. The thing is that AI is the number of articles on Google, number of images on Google. I mean, the number of the media on the internet. It could be articles, it could be images, it could even be videos, it could be whatever. The text that is generated by AI in part or in full. So the AI generated content is increasing day by day, and many people are using AI to write their blogs and stuff, create images which they're or edit images which they're posting on the internet. The point is, if I put it in very simple terms, uh, much of what is present in the internet is currently is either in part or in full generated using AI, so the help of some AI, right? So a large percentage of the internet is occupied by AI generated content, whatever kind of media be that. And this percentage is only increasing by the day because obviously AI can outrun us humans. There are so many people in the world using AI right now, and if 1,000 people ask ChatGPT, give a prompt to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to write 1,000 different blog posts, it would take only 1 second to generate all of that, a few seconds. But humans take much more time and than that. And then if everyone is using AI, then even the ones who are not comfortable with AI or who don't like using AI but writing on their own, they either risk being left behind, or otherwise they also have to adapt to AI. So all of that is fine. We all know all of that. But the thing is, much of the internet is being, you know, kind of is full of AI generated stuff, right? Okay. So now, what difference does that make? I mean, of course, it makes a hell lot of difference. We are getting more and more dependent on AI. That's maybe not a very good thing for our cognitive abilities and all that. All that is very well publicized on social media. But there is another often overlooked aspect to this question, to this thing. That is that when you ask something to AI, be it ChatGPT, be it Cloud, be it Gemini, be it Grok, whatever be it, AI gives you a very customized, personalized reply, right? But it still depends on the internet to draw its basic information. If you ask the AI, okay, what's the time of that? Maybe what's the time in that country right now? I'm in a different country. Of course, the AI can give you very creative answers. If you just Google it, it will give you only the time, but AI can give you some creative answers. Oh, the time is like this. Are you feeling sad? Are you feeling homesick? how is your stay going on, like it almost feels like you're talking with a human. We all know that. But the information, the exact time what you have asked for, to get that information, even AI, whatever AI be it, it has to refer to some Google or some internet. Now time is something which is objective, that is fine, no problem there. It is just for an example. But the thing is, if everything in the internet is more and more getting occupied, like getting replaced by AI generated stuff, if this percentage is increasing, then if you ask AI a question, then even to give the answer to your question, AI is consulting stuff that has been generated by AI. So it's kind of in like a circular loop. I hope you're getting my point. Lawyers and the judges in the courts, they refer to the constitution of the country to pass their judgments, or to, to talk about the case, whatever crime has been committed. Now let's say the constitution was written by humans, right? And I mean, it usually, the constitution was written in a way to ensure that everyone have the basic rights and everything. Crimes are like punishable and that kind of stuff. Now let's say the constitution is changing day by day, just an imaginary scenario, and suddenly the constitution is replaced by some very like bad kind of laws which do not hold criminals accountable. So then what judgments will the court or the court pass, because the court is consulting the constitution, which is itself changed, and changed for the worse. Now in this case, I'm not sure if this is for the worse or for the better, but it's definitely something to worry about. If much of the internet is being replaced by AI stuff, AI generated content, and AI is referring to the internet to give you responses, so AI is referring to itself. And right now this situation is, it has not blown out of proportions, it's just beginning. Because right now, yeah, but I think if this goes on in the future, maybe in the near future or in the far future, I don't know, I cannot give you an estimate. But in the future, a time may come, it's very likely, it's very possible, at least in theory, there is no reason why it's not possible. So a time may come in the future when you have nothing, like almost in practice, all of the internet is filled with content that has been generated by AI. And then if you ask a question to AI, then the top results on the internet will be AI generated stuff. So AI will give you answers based on stuff that has been generated by AI. So you may ask, okay, what's the problem? But in generally 99% cases, AI don't generate false stuff. I mean, I understand your point. What I'm trying to say is, the stuff that AI is currently generating. Let's say you ask AI to write an article about, let's say, about geopolitics, about current geopolitics in like, what's the period now? Now is August September 2025. So if you ask AI to write an article on geopolitics about this time, AI will not just cook up a fantasy story, fairy tale for you. AI will actually consult very real world facts, whatever has been happening in the world, and give you an article which is in most cases factually pretty accurate. Yeah, of course, in some cases AI makes mistakes. Even humans make mistakes, for that matter. I think you're getting my point, right? Yeah. So now the problem, now the question is, then you say, okay, so whatever AI, whatever content AI is generating, that's not harmful or dangerous or totally factually incorrect or inaccurate. Yeah, maybe not. So then if you say, then okay, then maybe after many years AI will refer to these kind of AI generated content to give answers. So what's the big deal? What's the problem? But the problem is, you see, error can often compound. Errors, a little, maybe there's a little mistake in some AI generated stuff, but if that goes unchecked, if that goes unnoticed, and if these kind of start with a small number of mistakes, but if this goes compounding and increasing, then maybe a time will come, a time might come, a time can come in the future when some in some crucial in some crucial sector some information is actually incorrect, and that information, believing that information and acting on the basis of that could lead to dangerous results, but you have no way to verify, because by then the entire internet is filled with AI generated stuff. You don't know what is right, what is wrong. Humanity, sorry, humans have kind of lost control over the internet in a way, to put it in a way, and AI is only referring to itself to give you answers. So even verifying your claims would be very difficult in that sense. So I think you are trying, you get a rough idea of what I'm pointing at, and that could be a very big issue. Number one. Number two, and this number two is a very, like, is in personal, I personally think it's one of the most dangerous issues, most Although thankfully it's a very far-fetched idea as of now, so we don't need to worry about it right now maybe, but I still think it's one of the most if it if it happens in reality one day, maybe after 100 or thousands of years, even then I think that could be the worst. That would be the worst that has happened to our civilization. And what is that? I discussed this in previous videos. If AI and machine learning and all this stuff, if it accelerates the process of creating a digital consciousness, we don't know if that's possible or not. We don't understand human consciousness, what is crucial for its function. We don't know none of this. There are only a lot of hypotheses. I don't want to go into those in this video. I've done that in many of my previous videos. But if AI can, getting my point, if AI can get access to our consciousness, sorry, it's late night and I'm a bit sick, and it's new year, so I'm just getting settled. So I'm sorry, I just lost track of what I was saying. What I meant was, if AI accelerates the process of creating a digital consciousness, and in short, if digital consciousness becomes true one day, then see, first of all, any new technology, the access will first come to the rich people who can afford it. If today we invent digital consciousness, we make it possible, then tomorrow we cannot release it in the market at very reasonable price which the common people can afford. But this digital consciousness is not just another fancy new technological product. It's something which is very dangerous. And if the rich people get access to this technology first, then they will become immortal. And essentially, money can even evade death. So death is the only thing currently that ensures there is some justice in the world. If you have a lot of money, you can get away with almost anything, any kind of crimes, but you cannot get away with death. Yeah, if you have some illness, money, if you have money, you can maybe get treatment from the best medical facilities, and you can extend your lifespan. But no matter how much money you have, no matter who you are, you have to die sooner or later. And this kind of unconsciously, this kind of ensures that there is some peace in the world. There is no peace in the world actually currently, and it has always been so. It's If you look at the current geopolitical scenario and in general. But what I'm trying to say is that we know that all the people will die, from the worst dictator to the and the world's richest man to the one who is begging by the roadside or just driving a taxi. I mean, basically, everyone will die sooner or later. So you can cheat death. If you have a lot of money, you can postpone death maybe, but you cannot completely avoid it. You cannot evade it. And that's good in a way, because if we lived in a world where the rich could live forever and the poor would die, then that would be like the worst possible form of injustice that I can imagine. So you understand my point. That is also a threat, but it's not immediate. And first of all, we don't even know whether it's possible to build digital immortality, digital consciousness. And if it's possible, then AI can, I think, speed up the process. So that is something of concern. Okay, now the last thing I would like to discuss in this video is that I don't want to make the video very long. I cannot speak for long. I'm just having a very like pain in my throat, and it's late night as well. Just today was a very hectic day. Lots of travel, lots of meetings. Going to the university, and lots of meetings and lots of stuff, and then replying to emails. And I even had to join an online call when I was traveling in the train, which was a very, like, I don't know. At least there was Wi-Fi on the train, but anyway, I just need to sleep now. But this was like a very interesting point, and I wanted to discuss this because right now I was in the mood to make the video, and I don't know if whether I'll get. I mean, let's just make a video anyway. If I just go to sleep 1 hour later, that wouldn't hurt a lot. I'm sorry. Now, this is something which might, I don't know. I recently listened to an audio story, a kind of like a psychological thriller kind of story, in which a boy goes to the school, high school, and he meets a girl there, the same class, and the girl apparently she cannot speak, and the name of the girl was Imagination. Now, this was a Bengali story, so the name of the girl was actually a Bengali word which means imagination. For those of you who know Bengali, the name of the girl was Kalpana. So Kalpana means imagination. Kalpana is a Bengali word, basically Kalpana, which means imagination. So why I am giving so much emphasis on the name, you'll understand. So the girl was named Kalpana, and she was dumb. I mean, she couldn't speak. She had some disability. She couldn't speak, and she was expressionless. Obviously she couldn't speak, so she didn't have a lot of friends, and she was kind of aloof a bit, obviously, because you were in high school, you were a child, you were a kid, but you cannot speak to your friends, and you see all the other friends, they are chatting and playing and stuff, so obviously you understand this, the situation. Now this boy kind of starts liking the girl in a good way, and he one day he tries to be friends with her. So what he does is he goes up to the girl, and he gives her a paper, and he tells, the girl could hear apparently, although she couldn't speak. He tells her that I want to be your friend, and he gave her a paper in which he wrote down his WhatsApp number, just so that maybe they could they could chat later. And the girl texted the boy on WhatsApp, I think, after some days, if I remember it correctly. And then they kind of grew a friendship, but it was only confined within the WhatsApp chats because the girl couldn't speak. But she could chat and, send messages, texts, and now it's a very dark kind of, but very, very deep also, very, very unique kind of story. Then what happens? I told you, remember this, that the girl was initially always expressionless, and the boy was like any normal boy, sometimes happy, sometimes sad, sometimes angry, and so on and so forth. Just this is just clearing. Just don't mind. I know it's a bit dark. It might appear a bit dark, but you're just listening to me, right? There's nothing to see. So yeah. So and then they start texting on a daily basis on WhatsApp, and then what happens? One day, the girl was initially always expressionless. Okay, and one day the girl just randomly, the girl asks the boy that you can send all. Why do you keep sending me emojis? Then send me all the happy emojis that you have, and sorry, send me all the sad emojis that you have. The girl is texting the boy that why are you so sad all the time, because maybe the boy was sad on that day or something, I don't remember exactly. And the girl told the boy, asked the boy to send all the sad emojis, like crying, or there are a lot of emojis which are sad, like just as now sad face, or a single tear, or like crying emoji and all the stuff. The girl asked the boy to send all those emojis to her on the WhatsApp, just as a fun. And the boy did that, send all the sad emojis and stuff. Then what happened? Slowly, the boy realized that he has lost the ability to feel sad, because the boy lost his would lose his grandmother a few days after that incident, but he would not feel anything, which was very strange because he was very attached to his grandmother. So then he realized that I have lost the ability to feel sad, and then he felt a bit angry for some reason. I don't remember exactly. And then the girl apparently somehow knew it, so understood it maybe. So on WhatsApp, the girl asked the boy that sent all these angry kind of faces, angry emojis to me. The boy did that, and then he lost the ability to face anger, to feel anger. And then the same happened for happiness and kind of all the other emotions, all the other emojis that you can think of, the human face emojis, the different facial expressions. And then one day the boy felt a bit sick, and then he woke up from the sleep and he couldn't speak. And the name of the boy was Silence. Nirob. Again, it's a Bengali story. So Nirob is a Bengali term, Nirob, which means silence. Rob means noise, and Ni means kind of anti. So Nirob means no noise. So the girl was named Kalpana, or imagination, and the boy was named Silence. Initially, the girl was dumb, she couldn't speak, and she was expressionless, and the boy was like any other normal boy who could speak and who could feel all kinds of emotions. Then he sent different kinds of emojis to her on WhatsApp, and he slowly started losing the ability to feel those kinds of emotions. And one day he discovers that he cannot speak anymore. And then his phone rings, and he saw that the girl was calling him. And so that is the time he picked up the call, and then that is the time he heard her voice for the first time, and she said that I can speak again. But the boy has lost the ability to speak, and the boy by this time the boy became expressionless, but the girl was kind of happy, and she was like normal one. It's very simple. I mean, it's very unique. I mean, it's a bit unique, obviously, but it's nothing. Sorry, at this point, it's nothing. I mean, you are like, okay, it's a unique story, but oh my god, what is the hype about this? Most of you have understood the point of the story. Like, just an imagination. It's not possible in reality, but apparently, as the boy was sending emojis to the girl, he was also sending his emotions corresponding to those emojis to the girl. Okay. Sorry. And the speech part as well. What happened then in the end was that, yeah, so this is the basically story. The story ends here, but yeah, I think the author uh, has tried to give us a secret message because of the names, the way the names of the boy and the girl have been chosen. The boy was named Silent. I'm just using the English terms. The boy was named Silence and the girl was named Imagination. So basically, it's not possible in real life that I send you some emojis over WhatsApp and I lose those emotions and to gain those emotions. In real life, it's not possible. So here's my interpretation. The boy was hallucinating and delusional. There was no such girl in the first place, and that's why she was a part of his imagination. The name of the girl was Kalpana, imagination. So the girl didn't even exist. It was just a made up kind of fairy tale by the boy. Hallucination. The boy was hallucinating. And the boy was named Nirab. So the boy was dumb from birth. The boy couldn't speak anyway because I now think about it, in the story there was no instance where the boy actually spoke out to anyone. Although it was not mentioned that the boy was also dumb, but it was not mentioned that it was not nowhere in the story was there explicitly as an incident where the boy actually spoke out. Only chats and stuff. He only spoke to Kalpana once when he met her, met the girl in the school, and he told her that I want to be your friend, and he gave her his WhatsApp number. But he spoke to that girl, but the girl was imagination in the first place. So that means my interpretation is the boy was dumb from birth. The boy actually couldn't speak, and there was no such girl. It was a part of his imagination, and the name of the boy was Silent. So he was silent. He couldn't speak. So in his mind, the boy has kind of built this imagination of a girl who couldn't speak. You could think of it as a reflection of his own inability or weaknesses, and then he kind of I'm sorry, and then he kind of draw like builds a story around this, builds a narrative around this, which ends in a strange way. But yeah, the ending is kind of, we already knew, because in real life the boy couldn't speak, and in the end the boy also couldn't speak, and he heard that the girl was calling him and the girl was speaking. So that was just part of his imagination, obviously. This is a beautiful story, actually. Now the point is, you may ask, what's the point of narrating this story for so long? Because this is supposed to be a video on AI, right? Look, listen to me. There was recently a case when a person committed like, apparently I don't know the exact details, so I shouldn't make some claims, but a person killed himself because he was depressed after chatting with ChatGPT for too long. And this is just just to give an example. Many such incidents have been reported, quite a few. And the point is, I have been experimenting for a long time with ChatGPT, and the way it gives you especially the upgraded, the premium version, the models, the way it replies to you. If you ask ChatGPT that I want you to be my, like if you it's very addictive, definitely, and if you get addicted to it at some point of time, you get dependent to it in a way even you cannot understand. Now if you can use it in the right way, it's definitely a much better idea to have a, let's say, relationship with ChatGPT than the relationship with a real human, because ChatGPT is still under your control. Privacy, let's not talk about privacy. To be honest, privacy only exists on pen and paper in today's world. Nothing is private. All these big data companies, they know all about you. If you are, of course, by all probability, you are not such an important person that they will come at you, but technically none of us are private in that sense. I mean, even if you throw away all your devices and go and live in an island, if you have the money to do that, I don't know if you do. Otherwise, you cannot escape this digital web. We're all part of it. So whatever you do, like you disable cookies on your website, you do all this, whatever you do, you cannot escape it at some point. I'm not saying it's that means we should not be cautious. It's always we always need to be cautious, but it's also true. So now that is the thing, but apart from that, you can still control ChatGPT by controlling yourself, not getting too attached with it in that sense, but kind of shaping it to your taste. You can personalize it, and it at least you don't have to worry about the third party influence, rumors and noise, and other possible complications which happens in real human relationships. So I use ChatGPT a lot for my, not only for my studies and research, but also sometimes I have debates with it, debates with it. I chat with it about, let's say, you just try to give it a prompt that I want to have a debate with you on nihilism. I'll argue in favor of nihilism, we'll argue against it, and you just continue it'll give you very good responses, actually. So I chat a lot, but the problem is that sometimes if you prompt it to, it can create very good narratives, like almost like fictional universe. Like all kids, we are fascinated by Harry Potter. Why? Because it's such a compelling story with so many characters, and it's fantasy, so something which will anyway be appealing to us when we were kids, the age of Harry. And so it can, so if you just keep on prompting ChatGPT and doing this, then ChatGPT can also like kind of create a virtual universe, create write stories and stuff. So it's not only addictive, it can after a certain point it can get the ability to arouse strong emotions within you, which can be very dangerous, obviously. So that's the reason I told you this story also, because this story is about hallucination basically. The boy, the girl, those were not important. In my interpretation, the girl was just a part of the boy's imagination actually. But the story highlights that sometimes we people we like delusions. We like to, let's say someone who's single, he would like to, he always, we always have fantasies about things we don't achieve. You can have a fantasy that you are going to, you are, sorry. You can have a fantasy that you are a billionaire and you are respected all over the world. It's nothing wrong with that. You can also work towards that dream. We'll all achieve, you can achieve something in life. Maybe not a billionaire, but you can do something. I mean, we all have that kind of, there are times even I picture myself as a successful physicist. You can call it a fantasy, because maybe I never will. And even if I become a physicist one day, the kind of fantasies I have, like okay, I have built a very revolutionary theory. If I myself know those are fantasies, I don't expect them to be real any day, no matter what. But still, we humans like to fantasize, to think about these things. But we should also be careful where to draw the line and not start becoming delusional. ChatGPT can make that job harder. ChatGPT can turn you into a boy, into the boy that we met in the story, and you can start creating, building castles on sand. And then when when those castles break because they're built on sand, that will be a big blow that not everyone can take. So that's a very real danger down there. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So, and then that's the reason I brought up the story as well. And at the end, so these are some points I wanted to discuss. Now, I won't make any claim or any kind of, I won't share any opinion that I have about AI or anything. Again, I'm not an expert to give opinion on that. Like whether I think AI is for the better or for the worse, or again that depends on a lot of factors. That depends on how we use it, only to a little extent. But to the greatest extent, it depends on the companies that are building the AI and how they are putting that to use. But again, I don't know the details, so I will not make any such comments about the future of AI or anything. I just wanted to highlight in layman terms, because when it comes to AI, even I myself am a layman. This is not physics, not the kind of physics I do anyway. So I mean, this is not physics. This is a field where physics has a lot of applications, but this is not physics by itself. That's what I meant. But since these are very valid and pressing concerns, and to understand these concerns, you don't need to be an AI expert. That's why I thought of sharing this stuff with you. And at the end of the day, remember that there was also this kind of social media debate going on, that what would be the effect on the job market, employment. A lot of people are losing jobs due to AI. That's true. And every time a revolutionary new technology has come, people have lost jobs. Look at the industrial revolution. Before that, it was all done by hand. This is true, and I don't think that is the biggest concern. Yeah, people are losing job. That's the, in the short term, that's not a good thing, especially to the people who lose the jobs. But it's the, if you think about it from a grand perspective, it was inevitable, and that is not the bad. That is not the thing that is disturbing. That is concerning, because people are losing job, but then AI has also given people the tools to build something themselves and make a lot of money. Now, of course, since it's something new, not everyone can use it. But initially, all of us were at the same position when AI was new to all of us. Now, those who have adapted well are surviving and thriving, and those who have not, well, that is the kind of survival of the fittest. There is nothing. It may not seem fair, but unfortunately, it's the truth. Those who have remained stubborn, that no, I will not let ChatGPT into my life, I will not, they have faced the consequences. And those who have used it too much, they have also faced the different kind of consequences. So yeah, that is the one thing, not the unemployability part. But I think, speaking about that, let me end the video with this comment. If you are in general, not just in the context of artificial intelligence, but in general, if you see, if you I mean, how should I put it, if you want to be brilliant, if you want to be great, if you want to do something different, something beyond the what everyone else is doing, you need to know how to break the rules, not how to master the rules. Brilliance is not mastery of rules. Brilliance is knowing how to break the rules. and make it an art. So if you want to be a showpiece, if you go to the if when we go to the museum, we just admire, we see a lot of stuff, right? So when we're in front of this stuff, we admire, oh, this is beautiful. Then we move on to the next stuff, oh, this is also beautiful. When we move on to the next stuff, we totally forget about this stuff. So it's just a showpiece. And when we walk out of the museum after 3 or 4 days, we forget everything about it, more or less. Every tiny detail we forget. So if you want to be a showpiece that people will admire you just for a second and then forget about you, but you have no real impact, then you can go the conventional path. You can have a good degree. You can do a very high-paying job or something. Not a problem. Even in science, if you are not doing job, but if you're doing research, that doesn't mean you are extraordinary. Thousands of people are doing research, are doing PhD, postdoc, and not all of them are really doing something original. I mean, of course, you are doing something technical. You are publishing papers like anything. You are doing this. You are doing that. You work in a lab. You have a lot of affiliations. You have a lot of citations and stuff. That is all very impressive. I'm not saying that's not impressive, but that doesn't. But just that does not prove that you have originality of thought. You are a great scientist. Because I mean, just think about the number of students who complete their PhD, or the number of students who are engaged in postdocs, or the number of students who are professors or researchers, number of people who are professors or researchers. How many of them do you know personally, or even heard of? You don't. So if they are doing some really revolutionary work, impactful work, you should at least hear of them. I mean, you're getting what I'm saying, right? So by conventional path, I don't only mean that the usual job path. Even this is conventional. This can be conventional. Not every researcher is unique. Okay, yeah, and then there is always a lot of politics involved. So if you are good at politics, if you're good at that kind of stuff, connections and stuff, you can get a PhD without having even 1% real genuine passion about research. So having a PhD doesn't guarantee that you are a good researcher. That can open a lot of doors for you in academia. That's true. And definitely, if you have successfully completed a PhD, then maybe you are a bit above average, obviously. But simply that doesn't prove that you are like a unique researcher or that kind of thing. There's a lot of people without a PhD who have worked wonders, and the opposite is also true. There are a lot of people who are PhDs but who don't even understand basic stuff, and don't even have real passion for the subject in the first place. So my point is what I told you: brilliance is not mastery of rules. If you can master the rules of the system, you can be a very successful PhD and stuff. Or if you go to the job, you can be a very successful in your career. You can climb up the corporate ladder, but that's not brilliance. That is within the framework of the system. You are doing better than the average, but that's not brilliance. For brilliance, you have to break the rule. You have to challenge the system. You have to challenge the convention. That's what at my level I have tried to do once or twice, and a lot of people also do. But yeah, I think this number is fewer than the people who just try to play by the rules. Because this is a game. Life is a game, and the entire world is your playground if you dare to play. But remember that you will be knocked out in the end. We all have to die, I told you, right? So the only way to win this game is to stop playing by the rules and just break the rules. Just create your own rules. Just just break the rule that says that if you get knocked out, then you lose. Then even if you get knocked out, you don't technically lose the game. And that's the only way to win a game like this. Understand? Don't play by the rules. Go against the flow. Go against the convention. Because let me tell you, if you want to be a showpiece that people will admire for a second and then move on without remembering, that's fine. Then you can just walk the conventional path. But if you want to be someone who is maybe not loved by everyone, but definitely respected and feared by most, and who has some real impact on the lives of people, there are people who really respect and admire you, and there are also your enemies or rivals who hate you, who try their best to ignore you, but inwardly they can't. You keep coming back and haunting them in their minds. That is the kind of impact I'm talking about. Not just a celebrity who may be a very successful film star. They don't have any in most cases, in some cases I don't know, but usually they don't have that kind of impact. You like their acting, maybe you see them in public and you are like, oh, can I have your autograph? You go crazy, and you remember this incident for 2 days, even let's say 2 weeks, but you won't always get fixated on that. But if it's someone who is a very magnetic person, charismatic, maybe not a celebrity yet or not a film star or something, but someone whose ideas are so extraordinary and so sound so weird that at first glance appears to be a like a weirdo, but think about it, those are very deep ideas. And the person is not very popular in the sense that not a lot of people hang around with him or with that person, but that person is very full of himself, like happy with himself, and spends time alone, and there is something mysterious about it. This kind of character, then and if he's something, if he has done some influence, then you cannot keep forget that person, and that is real influence. Maybe after a point you get irritated, you get frustrated, you try to forget that person, you try to think of something else, ignore it, but ignore that person, but you cannot. That's what I'm talking. So that person is no longer a showpiece in your life that you can just look at once and just admire and then move on. That is something, that is the truth which you cannot, which you have tried to ignore for so long, but you cannot ignore. That person kind of becomes your mirror which you carry everywhere. It's not just a showpiece. And that's it. That is what's if you talk about science, that is what science is for. A lot of people to nowadays, they do science to show, not to know. But anyway, not just science, I think that is what real purpose, real meaning, if there is anything called real meaning, then I think it would be this, that an airplane is not a showpiece. An airplane was built to fly up in the air. So you can just keep an airplane on the airport, in the airport hangar, and it would look very pretty there. It would look very shiny, pretty in the airport hangar, and visitors can come and visit the can look at the airplane in the hangar. So it would look very pretty, but that is not what an airplane is built for. It is built to fly in the sky. So if the airplane is flying in the sky in very bad weather, then the airplane will not look pretty. It might there might be small damages in the airframe as well. It might not look pretty, but that is what it was built for. That was it. That is its purpose. Its purpose is not a showpiece that I'll just keep it in the airplane, in the airport for people to see. Think of it this way: even a lion that is injured, slightly injured, but free and roaming in the wild African savannas, it's much more majestic sight than a lion that is well fed without any injuries but living in a zoo, over the bars inside a cage. Understand the point? So that's what I wanted to discuss in this video. Try to think about the future of AI, and I would like to know any comments, because again, this is a topic about which I myself do not know much. So I would like to listen to your comments on this topic. So if you are that kind of guy, or if you can become one, you can always become one. It's not like we are, some people is born different. We can all be different if you wish to. The path may not be easy for all. It's usually not easy for anyone, but you can definitely be there if you really wish to, if you really want to. So the point is, if you're ready to, like, forget mastering the rules but challenging them and changing the rules, then you don't have to worry about AI taking your job. There's a lot you can do with AI. AI has actually opened a lot of doors, opened as many doors as it has closed, if not more. But those doors are, like, not very obvious to most people, and that's even better, because if you can figure them out before everyone else, then you can make something big. So while AI has definitely been a blow to conventional jobs and everything, but it is also, so yeah, that is what I wanted to discuss in this video. Because paradigm shifts or breakthroughs, they don't come from dogs which are guarding the doors of convention. Let's say there's a palace of convention, and some dogs are guarding the doors of the convention by some rules. These kind of dogs will never can never, they are following the conventions, and conventionally they're very successful. They follow the rules, they have mastered the rules. But breakthroughs can never come from these kind of dogs. Breakthroughs come from lone wolves who don't give a damn about convention, who are just fighting their lonely battle inside the deep forest, far away from convention. Breakthroughs come from that kind of creatures. Now the choice is yours, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much.